I saw the first trailer for TOS, I thought two things. One, that hurling yourself through the air as a monkey from platform to platform looked fun as f***. And two, that my comment section was about to be filled with angry gamers wondering why every VR game isn't a realistic military sim with manual reloading. I mean, if that's what one person wants, then obviously that's what everyone should want, right? Well, thankfully VR game developers are way more creative than that, and as a consequence we got TOS, which brings with it a welcome, light-hearted alternative to shooting everything in sight. Okay, well, maybe lighthearted isn't the right word. Sure, the environments are bright and colorful, the music is upbeat and bouncy, and oh yeah, you've got monkey hands. But play for more than an hour and you'll find out that TOS isn't lighthearted at all. In fact, if you're a completionist like me, you'll be screaming at the developers, wondering why they're so very cruel. See, the main goal of TOS is simple. You start at one end of a bottomless pit obstacle course, and by grabbing pipes, trees, and certain walls, you climb and fling yourself to the other end, and complete the level by hitting a big green button. This, in general, isn't a huge issue, but similar to a lot of mobile games, TOS gives you lots of challenges per level. So while your first attempt might be just trying to get to the end of the level, your next will be finishing as fast as possible to beat a specific time. Then you'll need to do a run using only a certain number of grabs, and finally there's a much more relaxed run where you're collecting all the banana pieces strewn throughout the level. It gets addictive fast, and unfortunately for me, I can't turn off that thing in my brain that makes me check all the boxes before moving on to the next challenge. Around the 30-minute mark, though, I started getting a little concerned. Sure, it's fun slinging yourself from place to place and completing the challenges, but nothing seemed to be changing. Thankfully, my patience was rewarded because as each of the 9 main worlds unlock, new devices and obstacles start to be introduced. Moving rails, trampolines, gusts of wind, electrified enemies, spike walls, and more. It becomes increasingly challenging and surprisingly exhausting, but never gets boring. However, it does get stupidly frustrating at times. Figuring out exactly how much force is needed to propel yourself just the right distance, it can be an exercise in trial and error. Swinging your arms will never be as precise as holding right on a D-pad and pressing the A button. You never get to a point where you feel 100% confident in what you're doing, but you do get a feel for it and obviously get better over time. And I'll have to check the footage, but I'm fairly certain I missed quite a few grabs that I should have landed. But overall, TOS controls pretty well. As you progress through the game, there's a few bonuses that unlock, like a couple of mods and some minimal cosmetics, but it's nothing worth writing home about. And although the levels do change over time, the backgrounds stay far too similar. I'm curious why the volcano levels aren't inside a massive cave over a river of lava, or why there are no turns in the level, causing us to move practically straight forward for all 80 levels, or why there aren't any optional power-ups to find either. The only new ability you're given comes at practically the last minute, and while I'm thankful it's there, I'm disappointed that there weren't more. I don't want TOS to completely rip off Super Mario Bros., but a few item boxes with special abilities would have gone a long way to mixing up the gameplay. And while we're on the topic of things I wish TOS had, there's no real-time multiplayer mode here either. It would have been cool to be in a gigantic gymnasium with 2 or 3 friends and race to the end together. But if you are desperate for companionship, there's a mode here to race against any ghost that you see on the leaderboard. And I will say that it's also good training to see how some players finish the level as fast as they did. Oh, and just as a PSA, you're going to need a little more space to play TOS than usual. Whether you're sitting or standing, you might want to push your furniture an extra 6 to 12 inches further away than usual. With all the serious games I've been playing lately, it's awesome that TOS mixes things up and gives us something a little different. It doesn't give us quite as much variety in the gameplay or aesthetics as I would have liked, but the challenge is there in spades. Don't let the colorful, bouncy worlds fool you. Completing it and getting the Platinum Trophy might be one of the most difficult things you've done all year.